All right, guys, good morning. Good morning. Welcome aboard to the Morning Note. My name is Carlos Garcia, founder and CEO of Gar Capital. Glad to be with you this morning, every morning, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time here on our YouTube channel. It is Friday, December 8th, 2023. Want to start by saying wishing everybody a very happy Hanukkah. To those who celebrate it, please enjoy your holiday. Let's go ahead and get to the markets. We did have non-farm payroll report today. So let's go ahead and start with that. That's what the big news of the day was. We'll bring up the live market blog. If you're interested in seeing this data information every single day live for free, make sure to check out the description below. That's where you can get access to our live market blog on Discord. Again, always free. Let's see. All right, here we go. Non-farm payroll reports. November, 199,000 jobs added versus the 183,000 jobs added as the estimate. The previous was 150,000. That was last month. Unemployment rate, 3.7%. The estimate is 3.9%. Very strong employment market, as we know. Average hourly earnings month over month, 0.4% versus the 0.3% estimate versus the previous is 0.2%. Average hourly earnings year over year up 4%. The estimate was 4%. This is the lowest annual earnings, hourly earnings growth since June 2021, and the highest participation rate since February 2020. So once we got that, we started pulling back a little bit. Now we're bouncing off those print lows. We are now at 35 consecutive months of job growth. So again, we are now at a 3-month average of 3.1% in average growth rate, average wage growth, excuse me. So that's where we are this morning. Let's go ahead and move this over. As you can see, we're still kind of chopping around. Let's take a look at Qs rather quickly. That trend line, it's just back to it. And then this is on the hourly, mind you. So if we bring up the daily, again, same deal, just nothing. Didn't break anything, that hasn't done anything. So we're at a point now that even non-farm payroll is not going to make us move. So we have to wait and see if we get anything at the open. So let's get to around the horn. Dow futures down 53, NASDAQ futures down 68, S&P down about 8 this morning. The Russell is up 0.13%. 10-year Treasury yields bouncing 4.239%. Guess the assumption is that if more people are working, the job market is still strong. That means inflation is still going to be sticky due to demand inflation. Again, if you're working, you're going to buy stuff, you're going to do stuff. And that, again, that's the goods and services part that we pay for, right? Again, more people do that, that's inflationary. So maybe this jobs data is kind of taking a little bit of the air out of the room when it comes to expected rate cuts next year. And again, I don't expect as many rate cuts as these banks do. The job market is still too strong. And it's the idea of doing a stimulative move in this kind of job market, it doesn't make a lot of sense. You save that ammo for later. You don't do it now. At least I'm not on the Fed, so there you go. Dollar index is up 0.52%, 104.08. The euro dollar just had some statistic, a little stat here. Euro dollar falls to a 3-week low of 107 and a quarter after the U.S. jobs data, 107.73 beforehand. So again, 3-week lows for the dollar yen. Let's see, you can move in here. Crude oil 70.87. Good morning, Ryan. Friday rally, I don't know. We're starting to pull back here. 16,000 is kind of that resistance on NQ, NASDAQ futures, 4,600, kind of the resistance on S&P. That's kind of what you're waiting for right now. I mean, this whole week, this is your week, guys. Just chop. You had a nice pop and then a reversal. Then you had the drop down and then a reversal. So reversal week in a sense. Frustration station. Welcome to it. Crude oil is up 2% again, 70.86 for gasoline futures, up $2.43. Interesting, gold is down 2028, but again, that's more on the dollar than anything. We talked about that paired trade with dollar and crude oil. Crude oil and the dollar are up today, so there you go. We'll see if that's going to go ahead and move inversely from each other. Silver futures 23.72, down 1.45% this morning. Let's see, euro dollar. Again, we talked about that, down 50 pips, 107.41. Dollar yen is up 144.57, 46 pips. 135.95, down 4. That's pretty flat for dollar Canadian dollar, even with oil going higher. 125.31 for pound dollar, down 58 pips. Bitcoin futures 44,000, up nearly 0.85%, and Ethereum 23.69. Good morning, everybody. Go ahead and expand this here. So this morning I woke up and I said, well, let's see what the non-farm payroll does. But if we don't get anything, then really there's nothing to do. And this is the problem. You're just chopping, and that's such a killer. Let's go to the SPY and see exactly on the 1 hour how the week has gone. We'll bring up the last 5 days. Here we are since Monday. Here's the SPY since Monday. Down, then up, then down, then up, then down. What else are we going to get? So here is your week in one nutshell. 459 to 454, 454 and a half. So about a $5 range, not enough to really even consider doing much. Again, I know I had the QQQ puts because we broke down right here on Monday, and then just, again, we're pulling back a little bit, but just not enough, unfortunately. But hey, you know what? These kind of weeks happen. I'm going to go over it on the weekend video. We'll preview the next week. Next week is going to be absolutely insane. I just want to show you this. So don't get used to this kind of price action next week because we got a lot coming up. And here it is. Next week, we have a 10-year bond auction on Monday, CPI on Tuesday, 30-year bond auction on Tuesday, PPI on Wednesday, FOMC Wednesday, that's rate decision. Powell on Wednesday at 2:30. Retail sales on Thursday. Unemployment claims on Thursday. PMI on Friday, and Friday is OPEX. So this is going to be the last party, in my opinion, in terms of big economic data of the year. Next week is going to be important. So let's not waste any capital really trading chop. There's no need to. If you got a flat tire, don't slash out the other three just to make them equal. So let's just wait. Let's see if we get something. If we get something, fine. Right now, again, I still have Shopify calls for next week. So if you get a bull run on Shopify, again, that downgrade sucks. I'll go over that this weekend. We'll go over the details. But went for the short again for that gap fill. I would have traded that anytime, but we just got chopped up. The good news is that we kind of stayed pat. We try not to push the envelope either. The market wasn't giving us much, so it was something to look at. It's something that we were looking for, that break, but who knows? Maybe later today we get a little bit more of a pullback, or we get just some kind of move. This kind of choppiness isn't going to work for anybody. It's not going to work for any traders. So again, the silver lining is we're not going to get this. We're not going to get much this week, or we haven't gotten much this week. But that's going to change next week, guys. You have so much happening. So for now, let's see what we get for the day. Let's not push the envelope. Let's start thinking about next week. Now, we're not going to find anything for this week in terms of expiry. We're going to look for next week, or next week is the 15th. So that's a big one. 15th? Let me make sure. Next Friday is the 15th. Yep. So the 15th expiry is going to be big. We're going to talk about that this weekend when we do the recap. The 15th, actually, in terms of the stock market almanac for this year, is going to be bullish. Triple witching day in December. S&P is up 26 of the last 40 times. The Monday before the triple witching, which is this Monday coming up, the S&P is up 13 of the last 22. In 2018, they were down 2.1%. So that was 2018 December. The expectation is we're going to get some kind of move. And I agree with Ryan, higher. I think this week we had every excuse to fall, every excuse for a pullback, and we didn't get it. So I think the confidence, the expectations are still higher. I kind of would hope that we pull back, obviously, a little bit, see if we can, reset some premiums, especially for like names like AMD that soared 10% yesterday. We're going to see what we get. But again, the idea is to stay patient. It's not much to do here, guys. You're seeing it right here on S&P, top left corner box. It's just killer, just killer. And I remember the times that we would try to chase this years ago, and it was just frustrating. It's better to just say, you know what, not the best environment. Let's take a step back. Qs will be an L for me. That's fine. We'll make it up next week and see if we can get back in the groove. But the day is not over. Let's see if we can get some kind of move. That's kind of demoralizing to see that non-farm payroll gets us this. One way or another, give me something. This is nothing. This is not going to do anything. So again, just hoping for some kind of move, and I'll be watching all day. Then after, it's a rally. We'll see. Yeah, the rally could be coming. Santa rally after the 15th. That's the expectation. but we still got next week, a lot coming on. So I hope you guys watch the video that I will make tomorrow for y'all, which will be the week preview and the week recap. Not much to recap this week, as you can see, but next week we got to prepare ourselves. We're gonna get to watch this together. We're gonna talk about some themes. We're gonna talk about each day what we're looking for. So it's gonna be a great video this week. Since this week's morning notes, I mean, I'll be honest, some of them, there's not much to talk about. I mean, let's be real. So let's see if we get a little something going for the Friday. Maybe we can leave with a little profits in our pocket. Maybe we can catch something quick, hopefully. But if they nothing there, then we'll just move on. Yeah, I'm not even going over any stocks that need to break because we're just pulling back now. So I just think this has danger written all over it, and we just need to be very careful. I like hearing you talk. I like seeing you type, Nick. Nico Wolf. Nico Wolf, everybody. All right, we'll go ahead and leave it there, guys. Again, my apologies for not having the most action right now, but this is the reality sometimes. I want to give a big shout out to those who just joined. And I want to say this very, very clearly. This kind of weeks are not every week. If you just joined us, you're probably thinking to yourself, this guy sucks. What's going on? There's nothing going on. Guys, give it next week. Next week, where we're going to get some stuff. We're going to get a lot of action next week, in my opinion. This week, we could have just stayed in bed. We could have just taken the week off. Let's be real. But so again, for those who just joined us in the blog and in the Discord, stay patient with me. We'll see you next week, and you're going to start seeing some magic. We'll see what we get. Have a great rest of your morning. I will see you guys on Saturday. I will send the video out talking about our market recap and previewing the next week. It should be a fun one. I will see you then. Cheers.